We'll start with a small prayer. I request you all to keep your spine erect naturally. Gently close your eyes. Being aware of the back of your head, relax the back of your head. Being aware of the crown of your head, relax the region. Shift your awareness to your forehead, the frontal vein. Relax your frontal cortex too. Slowly slip your awareness down to the breath. Feel the gush of air in and out through the nostrils. Being aware, slowly quietening all the thoughts down. We'll chant 3 Omkaras along with me. Inhale. Om. 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 Just listen to the Dhyana shloka. Vasudevasutam devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Paramanandamadhavam Paramanandamadhavam. Rub your both palms and repeat. Apply it onto your eyes, cheeks, front and back of your neck. With a few blinks, open your eyes, look at earth, and then you can shift your eyeballs up. I'd like to answer Zusha's questions in a few moments. We'll start with 2.12. If you have the scripture by your side, you can open second chapter, 12th shloka. And it is again the answers that we are seeing from Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Okay, 2.12. Natvevaham jatu nasam Natvevaham jatu nasam Natvam neme janadhipa Natvam neme janadhipa Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha Sarve vayamatah param Sarve vayamatah param. Krishna is continuing to answer. It is in continuance on the talk about the truth, the all existing self. I cannot translate self as soul in English for the very reason that souls can be many. We take many births and there are many souls. But if we talk about the one truth, which is always ever existing, never perturbed, indestructible, and omnipresent, it is nothing but yourself. So yourself, myself, his self, herself, oneself, oneself. In his viewpoint about self, he is carrying out furthermore instructions. He is carrying out to give furthermore instructions to Arjuna, saying that Natveva aham jatu na asam. There has been never as a point of time that I never existed. I'm not confusing. Let me put it in simpler terms. There has been no time where I was not existing at all, which means I was ever existing. Is he talking about his own self? Lord Krishna, the Almighty, the God, he is all existing. Hence he is talking like that? No. Natvam na ime na janadipaha. Not, it is not about only me, even with you. There is no point at any given point of time, there is no point where you never existed. There is no point in the past, in the present, in the future, that all these kings that you see by your side, in the opponent army, everybody was ever existing. What does this mean? We believe in karma theory. We believe in many lives, right? So, as much as God, as much as Almighty reincarnated himself time and again for the establishment of Dharma, Dharma is equal to not equal to religion, Dharma is equal to righteousness, Dharma is equal to morals and ethics. For the establishment of human values, as many times Almighty reincarnated himself, as many times we also took our lives. Yeah. Which means, what is that which is always there? I'm not going to take the second line. I'm just going to translate a bit more, interpret a bit more about the first line. He is saying that all the kings that you see around was there, is there, and will continue to be there. As you see me, I was there, I am here, I will continue to be. You see yourself, you were there, you are here, and you will continue to be. What is Krishna talking about? Krishna is not talking about the bodies, the forms that we are into. No, in the small boxes, there are names also. Lucia, Lalita, Nadia. We only see the form and name. But a seer, a person of wisdom, high intelligence, person of good Shakti, what Gayatri Mantra proposes as. Good determination, good wisdom, wisdom which has discrimination, will always see the continuous existence of real self, not the names, not the bodies, not the forms. Okay. Here, I want to give you a little more details about Advaita Vedanta. It might be a bit strong, but just be with me, okay? As you all know, truth is one. There's no other viewpoint about it. But Adi Shankaracharya says that there can be three notions on truth. You can see truth in three different levels, he says. One, the empirical reality. Like there is 100 rupee note, 100 RON note, currency with you. And then you know the value of the 100 RON, okay? And you have it in your pocket. And there is another Satya, Pratibhasika Satya, where you are walking on the road in the night, you find a piece of paper, thinking it to be 100 rupee note in the dark, you put it inside your pocket, and then you get to know in the morning or when there is light proper, then you get to know whether it is a piece of paper or the most valuable 100 RON note. Okay. So this is the kind of reality that we gain through our senses. And you cannot always depend upon them, right? That is second notion of Satya, second notion of reality. That is third notion, which is called Paramarthika Satya, the ever-existent truth. Which means, you know, the 100 RON note is a piece of paper. And when someone like Narendra Modi happens to become the president of Romania, cancels all the notes, value, demonetization happens, and then you get to know 100 RON note is not that valuable. It's just a piece of paper, as it was, as it is. Yes. So, now here, Adi Shankaracharya says, whatever that we see through senses, through our eyes, listen to, through our nose, through our tongue, whatever information that we grasp is supposed to be real, but not so. Yes and no. What is that we experience that is said to be the real truth? What is that we experience? The word Satya is interestingly coming out of the root word called as in Sanskrit. As means existing. Now tell me which fraction of your body, your mind, your intellect, your emotions, all put together, which part is supposed to exist all the time? Big question mark.
Our attention.
Our attention? Yes, attention is a sort of mental function. Okay. What happens when I am struck in an accident and I go to coma? Where did that attention go? Where did that mental function go?
Intentions.
Intentions?
Consciousness.
Consciousness. Which
Consciousness is still
means,
there. Your brain is stopping.
yes, which means consciousness is not equal to awareness. Consciousness is not a brain function. We think, I'm conscious of what I am speaking. I'm conscious of how I am dressing. I'm conscious of my body. Close your eyes. Be aware of the back of your head. Be aware of the crown of your head. Be aware of the nostril breathing. This awareness that we are bringing, we mistake it to be consciousness. But it is not so. Awareness of mind towards body, towards breath, sometimes towards mind itself is not equal to consciousness. Consciousness is of a higher paradigm, my dear. Consciousness is that which remains when you are wakeful, when you are in the wakeful state, when you are dreaming, when you are in deep sleep. What is that consciousness? Consciousness of I exist. What happens after a deep sleep? You get up and there is darkness all throughout. There's not a bit of light. You live in India. You're not in Romania, okay? There's power cut off. Okay? And then you are amidst complete darkness. What is the first thing that you search for? You search for a torchlight that's easily available in our smartphone. So first thing that we search is for the smartphone, right? Do you search for yourself? Where have we gone? Oh my God. Will you search for yourself? No. During your wakeful state, during you dreaming, during your deep sleep, you are very well conscious that I am. Regardless of what form you are in during dream. In dream, you can become a queen. In dream, you can become a pig. In deep sleep, the very body form ceases to exist. But yet, you are there. This consciousness of I exist cannot be a brain vital functioning, my dear. Cannot be. Do you agree to this statement of mine? You understand what I'm saying? Say yes, no, yes. Okay. Okay. So mere awareness cannot be consciousness. What Adi Shankaracharya speaks about Paramarthika Satya, the all existing truth, is this consciousness. And this is our real form. Can this consciousness be killed? Can it be wetted by water? Floods of, what's that river by Romania? I don't remember. Can it be wetted by the floods of the rain? No. Can it be exhausted with the immense fire? No. Even when your physical body is shed, even when you die, this existence feeling, I'm calling it as feeling, but it is consciousness. This feeling that I exist will not destroy. That's the secret. That's the secret. Krishna is saying, I exist for all these years, all these thousands, 10,000s of years. Bodies, names, forms have changed. I might be Parashurama, I had been Rama, some call me Buddha also. I am now Krishna, I can be Kalki, I can be any Tom, Dick and Harry. That's Krishna saying. It applies to you also, my dear. You have been a banyan tree. You will be an alligator tomorrow. You can be any. And so had been all these kings around. Don't go by their names and forms. Death is happening to their form, not to that truth, not to that existence. Am I clear in the first statement? Now the second statement. Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. It's very, very important. Sorry, one more thing. Before coming to the second statement, Krishna is very, very specific, very clever very smart in his speech. He is a great orator. He is bringing the first person into account, I. He is bringing second person, you, into account. Janadipaha, these kings, the third person into account, which means only when you are entangled into this body name and form, you see I, you, and they, or he and she. But when you identify yourself as this truth, as this never destructible, all present, have always been there and eternal, this existence, if you could identify yourself to this existence, you will not grieve. You will always be there. There is no death to you. There is deathlessness. Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha. There is no differentiation between I, me, you, they. There is no difference between present and past. It is like taking the carbon dating. Carbon dating is this archaeological procedure where we analyze the soil, analyze the brick, analyze the stone, the tablets, the inscriptions, everything, and then try to evaluate approximately some period, whether it is BCE, whether it is CC, BC. Now, what happens to that carbon dating of that molecule of soil, which was essentially a clay, and then after a few years it was made into a pot? What is the carbon dating of that soil with that particle of the clay which has been made as a pot? There's no difference, right? It was soil, and then slowly it developed into a pot. Everything is same. The particle of the soil, the particle of the clay is the same, right? And even when the pot is destroyed, is broken, eventually it is going to be that same soil particle, clay particle. Yes. So he is saying there is no na chaiva na bhavishyamaha. There is no present and past here, dear. Why is he arguing like this? Because Arjuna is worried. If I'm going to kill, they are going to die. I'm going to commit a big sin. Why are you asking me to commit this sin? That was his question. He's saying, where is form? Who is that you are killing? They're already there. Sarve vayam atah param. When is that point that we have ceased to exist? When is that point we have stopped to exist? We're always existing. Even after death, we exist, he says. Okay, I'll give you a logical piece of advice or suggestion to think about, to ponder over. You people all remember yourself to be an embryo inside your mother's womb? Do you remember? Do we remember when we were 1.5 months old? No. Do we remember all those stories, what our grandfathers, grandmothers, aunts, mothers speak when we were 3? Not all. At certain time, we don't even remember what happened yesterday. Yeah. It'll so happen when we are on the bed also, when we are at 60s and 70s and 80s. It will happen the same way. But the only strong memory, strongest feeling that we have got while sleeping, while dreaming, while at wakeful state is that we exist, right? Only strong memory. I was there in my mother's embryo. I was there when I was 1.5 months old, which means constantly from inside there is this vital information coming that All the memories related to your body are futile. You're not you. You're not yours. The only strongest feeling that we have is I exist, that consciousness. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, was being asked by a person. In fact, he came to his ashrama after when his lady love, his wife, departed. It was a recent loss, so he was mourning. He was in miserable state. Even in ashrama, he was tormented by the ladies' thoughts, memories all the time. It so happened that he came near Ramana Bhagavan, and this illumined saint is emanating his silence, his peace all throughout, because he is not entangled into his body. So with silence, he is giving this vital information, vital lesson that it is not that body that you have to get entangled into. Few days passed. He was peaceful, yet he needs some powerful words of advice. After all, it is his wife. So one fine day, he went to him by next, and then he sat down. He asked, how should I erase this memory? I'm in deep misery. I'm in trouble. How can you make this to be untrue? Ramana was silent, as usual. Silent treatment. Silence is his treatment. So he was silent, he was peaceful, and then slowly opened his mouth. Again, powerful words of wisdom. You are crying because of her loss. He said, yes, I am crying because of my wife's loss. Who will cry when you die? He says, I don't know. Will you cry when you die? He says, no, obviously. Okay. Will you cry when she is a few miles away or by the next room? He said, no. Why no? She is away. You have to cry. And then the person replied, Bhagavan, I don't understand what you're saying. And he clearly specified, the very thought that she departed is creating misery here. The very memory that you have got with her body, your body, to be very plain, with her mind and your mind, is creating misery. If she was physically away, you were not worrying, you were not crying. Only the thought created the difference, he said. The person fell at his feet. Again, Ramana, someone asked, what is the core theme? What is the center of your lesson? What is the center of your theme? He says, center is my theme. Go to your center. Go to your consciousness. Enquire, who am I? Don't answer. Please don't answer. If you answer, again, this answer is going to be an intellectual product or a mental product. Please don't answer. He says, go inquire, ask. This going towards center is the entire central theme of Bhagavan Ramana. How do we do it? Zusha's question. How do we do it? Zusha had already answered in her question. Grace is supposed to be the only thing that could help. But how are we going to be entitled so that we can receive the grace? Whatever this small intellect can understand, I'm answering you, Zusha. I do not know whether it is right or not. But what I think is constantly having company with the good people, with masters, like going to Ramana, going to Swamiji, Swami Vivekananda, going and reading Thakur, Ma, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Sharadama, going close to them. The same thing happened. The person was in misery, who lost his wife. He went closer and then he could find that ambience of peace emanating from that master. That is exactly what we have to do. Hence, we are having this Swadhyaya. What is Swadhyaya? We think self-study is Swadhyaya. Studying the self, studying the center, studying the consciousness, going close to this consciousness is Swadhyaya, is self-study. There are n number of times that we are with the body. When we are entertaining ourselves, we are with the body. When we are playing with our kids, we are with our mind. When we are focusing upon the work, we are both. Yeah. When is the time where we switch off? Where is the time? Why are we exhausted? Neha replied that she was exhausted. Why are we exhausted? When we are constantly with body and mind, we are exhausted. Natural. Natural. It is not the source of energy. What happens after Shavasana? Everybody here in in this platform had Shavasana. Yeah. What happens after Shavasana? This new, peaceful, indescribable energy. Why? Eventually, we have gone closer to our Swarupa. We have gone closer to that Atma Bodha. We have gone closer to that consciousness of real I, the source of energy. We are energetic. The source of peace. We are peaceful. Hence, Zusha, my point here is whenever you have time, get closer to that good company, company of masters, company of going close towards your own self, not to your, no? When I say you sit with yourself, people can't spend a minute. That much worst we are. Sitting by ourselves, all the worst emotions come up, all the worst and worst nonsensical thoughts which had never been on the surface will surface. This is how we are. So this is being with your body and mind. Detach yourself. Trying to be with that abode of peace is what you have to be. You have to do. And spend some 15-20 minutes every day. I'm not saying it should happen by meditation. Close your mouth, close your eyes, close your ears, shut all the doors, be in 4x4 room. Sometimes that can be a punishment itself. Find your method of connecting yourself with that existence, with that consciousness. Your method. For some, it can be listening to bhajans. For some, it can be listening to Ramdhun. For some, it can be listening to consciousness itself, like this, attending seminars, attending discourses, attending lectures. For some, is going and then reading the scripture. Just by reading the scripture, you can drink that elixir. Paths are many. Swamiji says by one or more or all of these. By work, worship, philosophy, and psychic control. As I agree to disagree with Swamiji here. For me, it is always all of these. You have to understand the essential core of how you need to work. What do we do when we work? We work for accomplishment. Again, entanglement of body, name, and form. What do we do during psychic control? We are trying to master mind, but we are going to administer pressure over emotions, feelings, and thoughts. That's not the right way. That's not the right way. Emotional culture. By understanding emotional culture, we think that, okay, let me express my emotions, then the work is done. What happens with overexpression? You again get psyched. People around people around us get psyched because of that. He is blunt. He is, that happens. There's no mastery happening. And again, the fourth method is wisdom, listening to the lectures. So for me, if you ask me, if you want to be a holistic individual, you have to apply all the four. Mastery over emotions is also equally important. You should know how to work effortlessly, getting identified with your existential self and not worried about the fruits of the action. You have to work upon culturing yourself, feeding yourself. You have fed your body and mind so much. So much of entertainment has happened. You're now exhausted with your Instagram and Facebook itself. You feed yourself now. Find out where that peaceful self, that piece of peaceful self you have got. Listen to the words of wisdom. All four has to happen together. So, na bhai, sorry. Na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. There is no was, there is no will be here. There is no past, there is no future for self. Because everybody was ever existing. You, me, everyone, every being. Now 2.13 and then we will close. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Dehinosmin yatha dehe. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. Tatha dehantara praptihi. Tatha dehantara praptihi. Dhirastatra na muhyati. Dhirastatra na muhyati. So what happened when he said there was no was, there was no is, there is no will be, you exist, I exist, he exists, they exist. Arjuna was having his hand over head. He couldn't understand what he was saying. So he is making things more easy to understand. He said, listen, baby, just as in a human life, we have three stages in the body. What happens when you are very, very small, young infant? You were tiny little cute kid. And then slowly you turned out to be 7, 9. You were a cute adolescent. And then slowly the cuteness will all go. All blemishes will come. All wrinkles will come. Slowly disease will attack. Slowly you will shrink by your form. That is old age, jara. So There are stages in body. Can you see that? He says, yes, 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 yes. I know that. Just as you have stages of growth, development, and depression in your or disimprovement in your bodily form, so that is obvious. Tata dehantara praptihi dhiraha tatra namuhyati. One more thing is obvious, Arjuna, which you do not know. What is that? Arjuna is asking. When you leave the body, then also you exist. Changes are applied only to your body. There is something which is changeless and ever existent. Even after your physical death, you remain to exist. What does that mean? Is that my mind, my chitta, carrying all the karmic influences, and then I become the alligator in the next birth? Is that what Krishna is saying? No. Again, they are all changing, right? Chitta, the composition of all the memories through which the basis of the next life happens also changes. Will you be alligator in the third life? You don't know. You don't know. That also changes. So he is not talking about that which is changing. He's talking about that which is changeless. And that is exactly what I was trying to tell you, that 100 RON currency note. We think that the 100 RON currency note is worth 100, but it is eventually a piece of paper. Just because someone has signed, just because someone had evidently written 100, we have taken it to be 100. But eventually, essentially, it is a piece of paper. Yes. Hence, Krishna is saying there are stages in life, stages in body, changes happening to body. Similarly, there is changeless state also remaining all throughout, and it is more evident after death. Tata dehantara praptihi dhiraha tatra namuhyati. There's another beautiful word that Krishna is speaking here. Dhiraha. Who is Dhira? Dhira is a person. Dhi means intelligence. Ra means discrimination. Why discrimination? If you do not know how to discriminate truth and untruth, if you do not know what is changeless and changing, if you do not know what is 100 rupee note that is being taken in the dark, taken to be 100 and real piece of paper, then there is trouble. You will be miserable. You will feel insulted. You will feel life to be a big hassle. Now, Krishna says a person who is intelligent, who discriminates, does not see his name and form. He always attributes himself and others to that changeless truth, and hence, na muhyati, he is not grieving. He grieves not for death. Like Bhagavan Ramana, he didn't grieve. He didn't grieve when mother departed. He gives the same lesson and advice that you should not grieve. He didn't grieve for his own cancer situation. Yesterday, in the last session, I was mentioning this example that a disciple was very, very worrying at why Ramana, you have to take all these things. Why do you have to? You should do something to your body. You should do something. Ramana is saying, you still see your guru in this body, which means you are still entangled in this body. That's it. The disciple got enlightened with just these words. So, changes apply to body, infancy, childhood, adolescence, old age, disease, death. In fact, death is the only sure thing that we have got. When you see a pregnant woman, are you sure that she will deliver she will deliver a good baby? It's all in the hands of Almighty. You do not know. But whatever you see as being in this universe will eventually die. Will eventually die. Death is the only sure thing that should happen to the body. If not, there would be chaos. Think of think, think of living with your grandfather for millions of years together. So death is the only sure thing that has to happen to the body. Changes are obvious, evident to the body. You should not be worrying. You should not be worrying about the gray hair. You should not be worrying, why am I not able to walk quickly? Why my lungs are not efficient? You're getting old. Dearie, you're getting old. Changes will happen. The only wise thing that a discriminate person will understand that changes will happen. Accept them. That is to your body. You are limitless. You are stronger than the sun. You are the most powerful. From you, the creation happens. From here, there is peace. From now, there is peace. Not in the past, not in the future. Questions? Hold your horses. I'll just stop recording and then you can ask your questions. Zusha, did I answer your question?
Thank you very much, Lalitha. So it was